Every man and woman desires success, yet most drift through life without the habits that make success inevitable. They cling to hopes, waiting for luck, while quietly surrendering their greatest weapon, discipline. Success does not come by accident. It is built brick by brick through habits forged in fire. If you look closely at those who achieve, you will see not luck, but patterns. You will see routines that act like magnets, pulling opportunity into their lives. And the difference between those who rise and those who remain in mediocrity is simple. Some force themselves into the right habits while others indulge the wrong ones. The first truth is this: habits create destiny. Not occasionally, not sometimes, but always. A man who disciplines his mornings disciplines his life. A woman who commands her thoughts commands her world. Every small repeated act becomes a vote toward who we are becoming. Consider the farmer. He does not plant his field once and wait for a lifetime of harvests. He returns each season, placing seed after seed, knowing that habit alone ensures the crop. So it is with our minds, our work, our daily rituals. The question is not whether we have habits. The question is whether they serve us or enslave us. Imagine for a moment a ship without a rudder drifting at sea. It moves, yes, but without direction. Every wave, every gust of wind carries it further from the harbor it might have reached. That is the life of the man who avoids the discipline of habits. He rises late, speaks carelessly, fills his mind with trivialities, and wonders why fortune does not smile upon him. He does not realize he has abdicated the helm, but contrast him with the one who grips the wheel, who fixes his eyes upon a port, who adjusts daily with unwavering routine. That one, no matter the storm, reaches shore. Habits are the rudder of life, and without them we are condemned to drift. Let us strip away illusions. Greatness is not born from bursts of inspiration. It is not the sudden strike of genius that creates empires. It is the grind of repetition, the quiet enforcement of rules upon oneself, even when no one is watching. The pianist masters not in moments of passion, but in hours of scales. The athlete wins not in the arena, but in the silent mornings when he forces his body to train. And so it is with success itself. Those who attract wealth, influence, and freedom do so because they force their days into habits that guarantee them. Inspiration will fade, habits endure. What then are these habits that attract success? They begin in the mind. Thoughts become seeds, and seeds become reality. Think of it. Every invention, every company, every fortune began as a thought pressed upon the mind with consistency until it became flesh. The man who thinks success, who speaks it, who moves as though it were already his, begins to attract it as surely as iron to a magnet. But the one who entertains doubt, fear, and resentment attracts failure just as faithfully. You cannot think failure and walk into success. You cannot think small and live large. The law is absolute. We become what we think about. Say it aloud, write it down. We become what we think about. Let it never leave your mind. The body follows where the mind leads, and the environment follows where the body works. Therefore, force yourself into the habits of thought that sustain vision. Begin each day with the clear picture of who you are becoming, and watch as your actions align with it. Wake early, for every hour of the morning holds tenfold the power of hours wasted at night. Write down your goals, for the faintest ink is stronger than the strongest memory. Speak your affirmations, for the words you repeat program the depths of your being. If you neglect these habits, your mind becomes a wilderness. If you cultivate them, your life becomes a garden. Let us not pretend this is easy. The human mind resists discipline. The body seeks comfort. Habits once formed bind us, whether in chains of steel or wings of freedom. The man who habitually indulges in excuses, in laziness, in distraction, will find himself bound and unable to move toward his dreams. But the one who forces himself daily, even painfully, into the rituals of discipline soon finds that those very habits carry him effortlessly. At first you carry your habits like a burden. Soon they carry you like a river. The law is this: first you make your habits, then your habits make you. Now, if you are listening, if you truly seek success, I ask you to ingrain this law into your spirit. Do not merely nod at it. Do not treat it as an idea among many. Write it, speak it, declare it. Let it echo in your mind every morning and every night. First I make my habits, then my habits make me. Say it aloud, let your voice claim it. First I make my habits, then my habits make me. Every time you write it, you brand it upon your future. Every time you act on it, you align yourself with the immutable law of success. Do not underestimate the power of a single declaration. Words are seeds, and when spoken with conviction, they root deeply into the soil of the mind. The world will try to sway you, tempt you with ease, distract you with noise, but the one who carries an iron creed within him cannot be shaken. Begin yours today with this affirmation: I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it, say it now. I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Write it, speak it. Each repetition engraves it deeper until it becomes part of you. And when it is part of you, your habits will align with it, and your future will reflect it. This is the beginning of mastery. To force oneself into habits that attract success, to accept the discipline others refuse, to command the mind, and in doing so, command life itself. The path is narrow, the work is steady, but the reward is inevitable. Those who choose habits choose destiny. Those who neglect them choose regret, and the great secret is this: destiny is not chosen once, but daily in the quiet repetition of habits that become the pillars of fortune. Begin today. Begin now. For what you do daily, you become permanently. Every day, life presents us with a quiet choice: comfort or growth. The tragedy is that most choose comfort, never realizing that comfort chosen once becomes habit chosen forever. And comfort as a habit is the slowest form of decay. Look around and you will see the evidence written on faces and lives: men who once dreamed of greatness but surrendered to the ease of indulgence, women who once envisioned a future of abundance but allowed themselves to drift into routine mediocrity. What robbed them was not lack of intelligence nor lack of opportunity. It was the silent addiction to comfort that hardened into habit. Success is not denied to them by fate, it is refused by their own unwillingness to suffer the discipline of new habits. The law of cause and effect makes no exception here. A man who eats poorly daily should not be surprised when sickness becomes his companion. A woman who neglects her mind, who fills it with gossip and triviality, should not expect wisdom to suddenly arrive at her door. And those who never push themselves into routines of focus, courage, and effort should not imagine that wealth or achievement will materialize. Habits are causes, and results are their effects. There is no mystery to it. To demand success without forcing oneself into the habits that create it is like demanding harvest without planting seed. It is to live in contradiction with the universe itself. So the question becomes, what habits must we force upon ourselves to attract success? Let us begin with the simplest, and yet the hardest: the habit of thinking. Most people would rather do anything than think deeply about their lives. They escape into distraction, they avoid the mirror of reflection. But success begins in thought. Thought is the architect, habit is the builder, and destiny is the house. You must train yourself to think deliberately, to guard your mind as you would guard treasure. Spend time each morning shaping your vision, rehearsing your goals, questioning your actions. Do not drift into the day unprepared, for the world will eagerly supply you with trivial thoughts if you do not choose your own. Equally important is the habit of action. Thought without action is potential wasted, and action without habit is scattered energy that achieves nothing. To succeed, one must act daily, consistently, regardless of mood or circumstance. This is where most fail. They act only when inspired, when motivated, when conditions are ideal. But the achiever acts because the habit commands him. He writes when others wait for inspiration. He works when others sleep. He studies when others waste time. And because he forces himself into the habit of action, he receives results that others mistake for talent or luck. Luck favors the disciplined. Opportunity appears to the prepared. Consider also the habit of perseverance. It is easy to begin, it is noble to finish. The world is full of men who started ventures, who declared visions, who dreamed loudly but abandoned quickly. The difference between those who succeed and those who vanish is simply that the successful formed the habit of continuing, even when enthusiasm faded. Perseverance is not natural, it is forced until it becomes second nature. The one who daily refuses to quit, who daily forces himself to take one more step, soon realizes he has crossed distances that others never imagined. Write this down. Let it brand itself upon your heart. I persist until victory. I persist until victory. Speak it aloud and let your spirit know there is no retreat. Another vital discipline is the habit of learning. A man who ceases to learn has already begun to decline. The world changes, knowledge expands, and those who cling to yesterday's understanding are left behind. To attract success, force yourself into the habit of daily study. Read, listen, observe. Not casually, but deliberately, as one sharpening a sword. Even 10 minutes a day compounds into mastery over years. Most will not do this, and so most remain ordinary. But you are not here to be ordinary. Say to yourself, I am a student of wisdom. Daily I grow, daily I rise. Repeat it until it is no longer a statement, but a law governing your very being. Discipline itself is a habit. At first it feels like chains, rising early when you would rather sleep, working when you would rather play, resisting indulgence when you would rather give in. But over time, those chains transform into wings. What once felt like imprisonment becomes liberation, for discipline gives freedom. Freedom from poverty, freedom from weakness, freedom from regret. The man without discipline is a slave to his impulses, tossed about like a leaf in the wind. But the disciplined man becomes the master of his days, and in mastering his days, he masters his life. The chains of discipline or the chains of regret, those are the only options. And yet, let us not deceive ourselves. Forcing these habits requires struggle. The first weeks are war against the self. The mind resists change, the body craves ease, the old patterns fight to survive. But every repetition weakens the old and strengthens the new. Every day you act against comfort, you drive a nail into the coffin of your former self. Every day you act in line with your vision, you breathe life into the person you are becoming. Success is not a single victory, but 1,000 small victories, invisible to the world, but monumental within. Therefore, ingrain this law. Success is the child of daily discipline. Say it aloud, let your voice carry it. Success is the child of daily discipline. Write it, remember it, live by it. For when the day comes that you stand before your results, you will see clearly that every fortune, every victory, every triumph was the echo of your daily choices. What you repeated became what you received. What you forced yourself into became what the world recognized as mastery. And so if you wish to attract success, do not wait for motivation. Do not depend upon chance. Do not plead with fate. Seize the habits that shape destiny and force yourself into them until they force success upon you. Build them brick by brick, day by day, with the faith that every stroke, every word, every act compounds into an unshakable foundation. For in the end, life gives not what we ask, but what we demand through habit. And habits are demanded daily. Begin now, begin always, and never stop. The reason so few rise to true greatness is not because the path is hidden, but because it is too plain, too ordinary for the masses to respect. People search for secrets, shortcuts, hidden formulas when the truth is before them. Success is simply the result of right habits forced until they become natural. Yet this simplicity offends the lazy mind. It cannot accept that greatness comes from repetition, from self-command, from forcing oneself into patterns that seem small in the moment but immense in their accumulation. Remember this, the ordinary habits you repeat daily determine the extraordinary results you one day hold. Think of time, that silent ledger that records every action. Each hour, each day is an entry in your account. Most wasted, treating time as though it were infinite. But the disciplined man treats each hour as sacred. He forces himself to use time as an ally, not an enemy. And this too is a habit, the habit of stewardship. To plan, to allocate, to guard against theft of time by distraction. Success belongs not to the one who has more time, but to the one who masters the time given. For the man who wastes an hour has confessed he does not value life. Time is life. To abuse one is to abuse the other. Consider also the habit of focus. In an age of noise, this habit has become rare, and so it has become priceless. The average man scatters his attention like seed thrown on stone. No harvest will come of it. But the one who forces himself into the discipline of focus multiplies his power 100-fold. To sit, to work, to think without distraction, to hold the mind on a single purpose until it bends reality itself. This is focus. And this must be practiced like an athlete practices his craft. At first the mind rebels, restless, eager to flee into ease. But each time you command it back, you strengthen the muscle of attention, and the one who owns his focus owns his future. Another habit that must be embraced is courage. Yes, courage itself can be trained, can be forced into habit. Most shrink at risk, avoid uncertainty, and in so doing they avoid growth. But the successful build the habit of stepping forward despite fear. They call fear by its name, look it in the eye and act anyway. And each repetition of courage makes the next easier until boldness becomes second nature. Those who retreat from fear build the habit of retreat. Those who advance despite fear build the habit of conquest. Which will you choose? Every day offers the chance to rehearse courage, to force yourself into it until it defines you. Do not neglect the habit of gratitude. It may seem soft compared to discipline, focus, and courage, but it is the foundation of joy and endurance. The ungrateful man cannot attract success, for his heart is always bitter, always empty, no matter what he gains. But the one who daily forces himself to see blessings, to give thanks, builds a habit that multiplies his strength. Gratitude clears the mind of resentment, opens the eyes to opportunity, and feeds the soul with endurance. To write, to speak, to silently acknowledge what is good, this too must become a habit if life is to be rich. Wealth without gratitude is poverty in disguise. Success also demands the habit of vision. Not merely having goals written once, but revisiting them, seeing them, rehearsing them until they burn into the subconscious. The successful live each day as though their future were already secured. They see it, speak it, act it, until it hardens into reality. Vision without habit is fantasy. Habit without vision is aimless. But combined, vision and habit become unstoppable. This is why you must daily force yourself to return to your goals, to sharpen them, to feel them as though already achieved. For the mind cannot distinguish between vision rehearsed and reality experienced. It builds the path either way. Now, let us ingrain this into our being. Say it, write it, declare it. I master time, I master focus, I master myself. Speak it again. I master time, I master focus, I master myself. For as you declare it, so you become it. Habits are not merely actions of the body, they are convictions of the spirit. The world outside bends to the law engraved within. When you hold this affirmation, when you live it, you reprogram not just your actions but your very identity, and identity is destiny. Realize this truth. The habits you force today will one day feel effortless. What is painful discipline now becomes unconscious mastery later. The habit of rising early becomes natural energy. The habit of focus becomes instinctive clarity. The habit of courage becomes unshakable confidence. And what once felt like chains becomes wings that carry you. Do not despise the difficulty of forming habits. It is the very proof that you are forging a new self. Each struggle is the sound of your old weakness breaking. Each repetition is the forging of a new strength. So commit now, not to wishful thinking, not to passive hope, but to the daily force of habit. Know that life bends toward the one who commands himself. Say aloud this law and let it anchor in your heart. I command my habits, and my habits command my future. Write it, live it, repeat it until it becomes unshakable. For when this truth is yours, success is not a possibility, it is a certainty. Habits are destiny, and destiny belongs to those who master themselves. Most people fail not because they lack the desire for success, but because they underestimate the silent power of repetition. A single choice seems small, a single action insignificant, but the repetition of that action carves grooves into the mind and soul. Those grooves, once deep enough, become rivers that carry us without effort. Whether those rivers lead to fortune or to ruin depends on what we repeat. The tragedy is that most repeat what is easy, what is pleasurable, what is immediately satisfying, and so their rivers flow downward into mediocrity and regret. But the wise man forces himself into repetitions that build him upward, and soon the climb becomes a glide. Take the habit of speech. The words you speak daily create the atmosphere in which you live. Most people poison themselves with complaint, with doubt, with small talk that weakens the spirit. They do not realize that their tongue is a sculptor, carving their future with every sentence. But the one who forces himself to speak with vision, with faith, with determination, builds an inner climate that attracts strength. Each word spoken is a seed, and the harvest is inevitable. If you wish for wealth, speak wealth. If you desire wisdom, speak wisdom. If you long for courage, speak courage. Words repeated daily become beliefs, and beliefs shape destiny. Do not forget the habit of environment. A man is not only the product of his thoughts and actions, but also of the soil in which he plants them. Surround yourself with those who complain, and you will soon complain. Surround yourself with mediocrity, and your standards will fall. But place yourself among the disciplined, the ambitious, the strong, and you will be forced to rise. To attract success, one must deliberately shape environment as carefully as one shapes thought. Books, voices, surroundings, all are influences that compound. And so make it a habit to choose your influences wisely, to feed your mind with greatness daily. Equally powerful is the habit of consistency. Anyone can rise early once, Anyone can work hard for a week, but success demands the steady drumbeat of daily consistency. The world crowns not the sprinter, but the marathoner. Consistency is proof of seriousness. It is the habit that separates the dreamers from the achievers. To force yourself into consistency is to declare that your goals are not negotiable, that your vision is not a whim. Every day you show up, you engrave the truth into your being. I am a builder. I am unmovable. I am destined for victory. And when consistency becomes a habit, success becomes inevitable. Let us also speak of the habit of self-control. The man who cannot master appetite, emotion, and impulse is forever a slave. He may gain wealth but lose it in excess. He may gain power but lose it in anger. Self-control is the unseen fortress of every achiever. To force oneself into the habit of restraint is to build an empire that cannot be toppled. It is to know when to speak and when to remain silent, when to spend and when to save, when to act and when to wait. This habit, though hidden, shines through every action, and it marks the difference between those who endure and those who collapse under their own weight. There is also the habit of service. At first glance, it may seem contrary, forcing yourself to serve others to attract success. But the law is simple: he who serves most earns most. To give value daily, to make it a habit to contribute more than is asked, is to place yourself in harmony with the great law of compensation. Those who only take diminish, those who only receive weaken, but those who build the habit of giving, of serving, of creating value for others, open channels through which abundance flows back. To serve is not weakness, it is strategy. It is a habit that magnifies every other habit, for it makes you indispensable. And so, ingrain this law today: I am consistent, I am disciplined, I am valuable. Say it with conviction: I am consistent, I am disciplined, I am valuable. Write it, repeat it, let it pulse through your being until it is no longer words but identity. For once you believe it, you will act upon it, and once you act upon it, results must follow. Every affirmation spoken daily strengthens the habit behind it, until thought and action merge into certainty. Think of the oak tree. It does not grow by sudden leaps, but by rings added year upon year, invisible in the moment, undeniable in the long view. So it is with habits. Day to day, the change seems small. But over years, the growth becomes mighty, unshakable, undeniable. Those who force themselves into small daily habits of greatness become unmovable pillars, while those who neglect them remain as grass, swayed by every wind, forgotten by every season. Therefore, choose today to force yourself not into comfort, but into discipline, into words that strengthen, into environments that lift, into consistency that compounds, into self-control that fortifies, and into service that multiplies. These are not suggestions, they are laws. Write them, speak them, live them, and let this affirmation guide you as you build: my habits are my fortress, my habits are my crown, my habits are my destiny. If you study the lives of those who rose from nothing to greatness, you will notice a thread that runs through them all: the habit of relentless clarity. They knew what they wanted, and they forced themselves to return to that vision every single day. Most men drift chasing a dozen desires with no anchor, and so they scatter their energy until nothing is achieved. But the disciplined man writes his vision, repeats it, ingrains it, and bends every habit toward it. Success is not a matter of chance. It is the inevitable consequence of clarity pursued with unshakable routine. The habit of goal setting is not to be underestimated. A goal once written becomes a contract with the self. To read it daily is to remind the